So let us start with the class. Yes, we have to continue from fluid mosaic model. Okay. So let us try to study about just a second, like let me start with this. Are you guys able to hear me? And the screen is visible, right? Okay, thank you. So for the weekend, you have this NEET test. For the NEET test, the bio portion this week would be biological classification, introduction, Monera, fully, and then like you have viruses, you have viroids, mycoplasma, prions, all these things. Okay, this is for coming week. Okay, the next week you'll have fungi and protista. Uh, Fungi will include lichens and all. Lichens, mycorrhiza and all. Okay, so all these things will come under next week. And the week after, biological classification, full. Okay, so this is going to be the biology portions. This is what is going to be the biology portions for the forthcoming weeks. This is coming Sunday. Okay, this is for the next Sunday. This is for the Sunday after that. You will be having doubt clarification section separately, so you can ask doubts in case if you have any of those things. Okay, so now we'll proceed with the regular class. You don't have any test today, unless anyone else has given it to you. Okay, so listen children, I just wanted to tell you something. If you go to Learnity, you will be seeing something called as a schedule. Okay, so in that schedule, the test portion should be intimated. Okay, I'm not sure about whether test is there today or not. Okay, some children are saying that there is test for those who missed it. Okay, you can take it in case if you want it. Okay, so for if you want to know the physics or chemistry portions, please go and follow this method. It will help you out. Okay, so please go to this particular pathway, go to Learnity, log in, see your test schedule. The portions would be given to you. If it is not scheduled, it would be scheduled by today evening. Today evening, you can go and check it. Okay, I have asked them to put the forthcoming week test schedule also. So I have given my portion from my end. So which means this is the thing for the next weeks. Similarly, like you will be given for physics and maths as well, physics and chemistry as well. You just go check in Learnity, there will be some column which is called a schedule, some calendar kind of thing will be there, icon will be there, click it. My people, whoever has missed the test on Sunday, you can take it today. So that test will be put up for you today. Okay. So let us continue with plasma membrane. I told you that it would be put up by evening. Just now I gave them the schedule. They need to type it and then they have to put it in the system and all those processes are there. Okay. We have studied about fluid mosaic model. So let us now move on to plasma membrane. Something that you need to know about plasma membrane is that it is highly useful for the transport. Okay. So there are two types of transport which will happen in plasma membrane. The first one is what we call it as passive transport. And the second one is what we call it as active transport. Okay. So please understand what is this passive transport. This passive transport can happen through diffusion or it can happen due to osmosis. Okay, so these are the two methods in which your transport can happen. Okay, so in diffusion, you have two different methods. One is the simple diffusion and the other one is what we call it as facilitated diffusion. Okay, so what we are going to study now is we are going to study how this diffusion happens in plasma membrane. Okay, so let us say that there is a eukaryotic cell where water has to be transported. So let us say that this cell is there, associated cell is there. There is an associated cell is there. Like this, cells are arranged. Okay, so if water has to enter, normally what you will see is the simple diffusion will happen only for very few substances. What is the simple diffusion? Suppose if there is a substance's concentration is high, let us say that there is a substance which is like here. The concentration of this substance is more in this side. the substance is not at all present here, or it is like kind of like very lessly present. So then what can happen? This substance can enter into the cell. So that is what we call it as diffusion. What is diffusion? Movement of substances from higher concentration to lower concentration without any requirement. Without any medium requirement. So say for example, simple diffusion is like very hardly found in cells. Okay. So diffusion is just one kind of movement where you have this diffusion from higher concentration to lower concentration. Okay. Without any medium. Okay, children, listen here. I am the teacher here. I am teaching you what it is. You please listen and then like just be patient for some time. Okay. I know what I am teaching. You please don't tell this is the definition for osmosis. I will be teaching you osmosis also. Okay. If I'm telling you that this is not the definition for osmosis but diffusion, it is. Okay. I'll teach you osmosis also and I'll try to tell you how it is different from diffusion. You have to be patient. And I don't want people to kind of like spam my text like this, like constantly typing, cut, copy, pasting, and then like you're just sending the messages. Okay. So it is movement of substances from higher concentration to lower concentration. I am using the word substances here, and also I am saying without any medium. Okay, so this is called a simple diffusion. This is what we call it as simple diffusion. So how is it different from facilitated diffusion? Okay, so I told you that water cannot move just like that in a cell through a plasma membrane. Okay, so what is facilitated diffusion? That is also diffusion. That is also diffusion. It is also movement of substances. From where to where? From higher concentration to lower concentration. Through a transporter protein. So say for example, if this is the plasma membrane, this entire plasma membrane is there. Okay. So you have a transporter protein which is there. There is a higher concentration of substances in this side. From this side, it is not able to enter through this plasma membrane because this plasma membrane is not permitting it. This plasma membrane is like kind of will not allow water. Let us say water. Let us say that this is a water molecule. This red color dots that I have kept is a water molecule. This water molecule cannot get inside the particular thing. Okay. Or let it be like, let it be any molecule which is there, which is not able to enter through the plasma membrane. But if it can move through a protein, a transporter protein, then we call it as a facilitated diffusion. So it requires a transporter protein. So how it is different from the simple diffusion? It is without any medium. So there, no, in this case, if it is a simple diffusion, these substances can enter through this way. Okay, so there are some substances which are hydrophobic, which can enter. Still, it can enter. There are some small particles which can enter through it directly. So that is what we call it as simple diffusion. Simple diffusion is hardly seen in plants and animals and cells. Okay, so without any medium. But whereas in this case, facilitated diffusion, you are involving a transporter protein and there is no energy. One more thing is without energy usage. Okay, so this is what we call it as a facilitated diffusion. Okay, so now there is a third type which is called as osmosis. Okay, what is osmosis? In osmosis, any substance cannot just like that travel. It is movement of what? Solvent molecules. So I cannot say that solute is traveling. It is movement of solvent molecules from where to where? Higher concentration to lower concentration. Through a semi-permeable membrane. So whenever I am trying to tell, it is through semi-permeable membrane. So it can be higher concentration to lower concentration, true, but what molecules are moving? Solvent molecules are moving. And what is the condition? It has to move through what? It has to move through a semi-permeable membrane. Okay, so someone is asking, can you show third slide once more? Yes, third slide. So this is diffusion. Diffusion is movement of substances. It can be any substance. It can be solute. It can be solvent. It is just substance. Any substance can be moving. From where? From higher concentration to what? Lower concentration. Does it need any medium? No, it can move without a medium also. So say for example, I am using perfume here at one end. And after some time, I'm able to see the smell, the perfume here. The perfume molecules has been diffused through the air without any medium. So this is what we call it as diffusion, simple diffusion. Okay. Let us talk about facilitated diffusion. Facilitated diffusion will happen in cells. Okay. It cannot enter just like that, it cannot enter. So it is using a protein and through the protein it is transported inside. That is what we call it as a facilitated diffusion. Okay, facilitated diffusion is the facilitated diffusion, whether it's simple or facilitated diffusion will depend on the type of substance. Yes, right. It depends on which substance it is there. There are some substances which cannot follow simple diffusion, but it can be transported with the help of facilitated diffusion through a protein carrier. We call this as a carrier protein. So through this carrier protein, it can be transported. That is what we call it as facilitated diffusion. Okay. And the third one, osmosis. Whenever I am trying to tell about osmosis, The osmosis, it is movement only of solvent particles. We are not talking about solute particles at all. Solvent particles will start to move from where to where, from higher concentration to lower concentration. And through what? It requires something important. What is that something which is required is semi-permeable membrane. Okay, so these three different things are distinct. Okay, so the simple diffusion, facilitated diffusion, osmosis, all these three things are very different. So please understand the difference between them. Okay, so there are some questions. Wait a minute. Don't ask any new questions. General doubt, will diffusion stop in case if the concentration is equal on both sides? Yes, it will stop. Whenever there is a concentration is equal on both the sides, let us say that these two cells are there, from here to here it has moved and it has reached to a equilibrium. In that case, the osmosis will stop. Not just osmosis, any other movement will also stop. Okay, only the concentration. Let us say that there are two cells. Here this is A, this is B. So if the movement has become, if everything is equal between the two sides, then there will be no movement at all. The movement will stop. When it is equal, we call that state as a equilibrium state. So I think that is answering your question. So next one is, if the body has no solvent, only solute, osmosis will not happen, sir. Yes, it will not happen. Osmosis is, if only solvent is there, only solute is there, osmosis would not happen. You take a particular cell which is having only what to say, sugar. You have only sugar this side also. You keep a membrane here, nothing is going to move from this side to this side. Give any example for solvent molecules. Water. Water is a solvent molecule. A special membrane is required for osmosis. For meanwhile, diffusion do not require it. Yes, that is right. Okay, one more question. All cells which has plasma membrane undergo facilitated diffusion? Yes, it will undergo facilitated diffusion. It can undergo osmosis. Whether osmosis will depend on solvent molecules? Yes, it will depend on solvent molecules. Diffusion is voluntary for a cell, sir. It depends on concentration. If the concentration is more in one side and it is less in other side, and if it is able to move through the membrane, it will move. That's all. We studied diffusion in grade 9. Yes, you would have studied it. What is meant by semi-permeable membrane? A semi-permeable membrane, the word permeable means allowing. Semi means half or selective. Selectively allowing. It will not allow every substances. It will allow only, it will not allow all the substances. It will allow only selective substances. That is what we call it as semi-permeable. Okay, let us understand this thing. So how it is dependent on solvent and all, we'll try to study. So there are three types of solutions. Okay, you have a situation where you have something called as a hypertonic solution. You have a solution which is called as a isotonic solution. You have a solution which is called as a hypotonic solution. Okay. So what is this hypertonic solution? So let us say that I am going to take a You will understand it. Just maintain silence for some time. You will understand it. Okay, don't keep typing questions. You just listen to me. After listening, if you are still having any questions, you will be able to ask them. Okay, so let us say that this particular cell is having some concentration. It is going to have cytoplasm, it is going to have fluids, it is going to have solutes, it is going to have solvent, everything is there. The cytoplasm itself is a mixture of both solute and solvent. It is a solution which you see inside, because it will have sugar content, it will have sodium, it will have potassium and all those things. Okay, compared to that particular substance, let us say that this particular substance is hypertonic. I'm having a solution which is hypertonic. What is the meaning of hypertonic? Here the concentration of sugar and salt is more. So naturally what will happen? The water content here is less. So what is the meaning of hypertonic solution? The solvent or water is less. The solute is more. In this case, what is happening? The solute is less. The solvent is more. Compared to this cell is high. This part of this particular location is, this beaker is hypertonic. And this is a plasma membrane, which is there in between. This is a semi-permeable membrane. So the solvent concentration is more here. The solvent concentration is less here. Why? Because it is having more solute and less solvent. So in such a case, we call this solution as a hypertonic solution. So now what will happen? This molecule, this water molecules will start to move from inside to outside. So what will happen? It will start to come out and then it will start to mix. So after some time, you will see that the cell would have lost the cytoplasm and less amount of cytoplasm will be there. This condition is called as plasmolysis. The cells will shrink. This is what will happen when you are putting it in a hypertonic solution. So let me give you a common example that is there. The common example that is there is like you take cucumber. You are going to cut cucumber. Okay, cut into smaller pieces. You remove the peel. The skin peel, you try to remove it off. Cut it into smaller pieces. You put it inside a tiffin box. Just sprinkle some salt and leave it. What will you see after some time? Say 1 hour or 2 hours, you close the tiffin box and then keep it. You open the tiffin box after some time, 1 hour or 2 hours. What will you see? The tiffin box will have water in it. The tiffin box will have water in it. Where is the water coming from? The water is coming from the cucumber. What has happened? The outside environment was hypertonic and the inside environment of the cucumber was exactly having more amount of water. So the water has moved through the semi-permeable membrane and it has come outside. So that is an example for exosmosis. Okay, so exosmosis will happen. Exosmosis will result in plasmolysis and cell shrinkage. This is what will happen when you are going to study, when you are going to have this thing. Okay, so let us talk about a hypotonic solution. In a hypotonic solution, what is happening? The inside is going to have more solute. and the outside is less solute and more solvent. Just the opposite of it. So here the solvent is less, the solute is, the solvent is more and solute is less. In this side of the cell, you will have solvent is less and solute is more, which means the water inside is less, the water outside is more. So now what will happen? Osmosis will happen, but it will happen in which direction? It will move from this side to that side. The water molecule will start to move from outside and it will start to come inside to neutralize it. So this is called as endosmosis. And what will happen in this endosmosis? The cells will bloat. Bloat means what? It will become bigger. Okay. It can burst in case if it is an animal cell. In case if it is a plant cell, it will become turgid. Turgid means it will try to become swollen and then like it will try to hit. In animal cell, it will burst. Okay, whereas in case of plant cells, the cells will not burst, but what will happen? The water will be absorbed inside and then it will try to hit the wall and it will try to pressurize and then be there. Yeah, plant cells will burst because there is no cell wall. In animal cell it will burst because no cell wall, and in plant cell it will not burst because there is cell wall. Okay, this is what we call it as endosmosis. The movement is from outside to inside. The third thing that you need to understand is what will happen if I'm going to put it in a isotonic solution. Isotonic solution is basically inside the concentration and outside the concentration is the same. So what will happen? The water will not move. No movement happens. The cell is said to be placid. When there is no movement of water, we call the cell to be remaining placid. Dry grapes is a case of like dry grapes because of became grapes because of exosmosis. Yeah, true. Okay, so please take down this thing. Are you guys understanding what is the difference between diffusion and osmosis? Why is the water moving? Because that is the property of water. There is something called as water potential. Yes, osmosis will take place in human beings also. You're sweating. How is it happening? It's because of osmosis. Okay, are you guys done? Can we proceed? Okay, in the first case, can we say that the outer environment is hypertonic and the cell is hypotonic? Yes, you can say that way. Basically, it is a relative thing. Compared to the inner side, the outer side is more hypertonic. Okay, a semi-permeable membrane means it is living. So it will take place only in living organisms. If you're talking about a non-living thing, imbibition and diffusion will happen. Tambi, isotonic means the concentration of solvent is same in both the cases. Here also the same amount of solvent is there. Let us say that this part is having 100 molecules of water and this side is also having 100 molecules of water. Where is the concentration more and where is the concentration less? Or are they same? So it is same. Okay. So will there be any osmosis happening? No, it will not happen. So what is happening is there is no movement. So in such a case, we call the cell, that is the cell to be, the cell will remain as such. It will not shrink, it will not bloat. It will be remaining however it is. So that condition is called as flaccid. Yeah, no net movement, right? That is what is happening. Are you understanding well? Okay, so if this is the case, inside and outside have the same concentration is called as isotonic. Yes. Okay. So all these things are methods of what? They are all methods of passive transport. In all these cases, ATP was not used. Okay. But there is a differentially permeable means something which will allow only selected substances. Whatever it wants, it will allow inside. Whatever it does not want, it will not allow inside. That is called as differentially permeable. Something which is required is there. It wants, it will try to take it in. Something it does not want is coming, it will not allow. That is what we call it as differentially permeable. So now we are going to study about active transport. In active transport, ATP is used. Okay, if you're talking about ATP usage, let us say I'll just draw a sequence of diagrams, a series of diagrams. Please take it down. Okay, so let us say that this is a plasma membrane and there is a protein which is there, and this is the, so now you just take down this diagram, I'll explain. Wait a minute, I'll show you. So what I'm going to explain you is called as the sodium potassium pump. Okay. This will happen in our body very frequently. Okay. So let us say that this is the inner surface and this is the outer surface. This is out, this is in. 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 Okay. So you have this active transport which is happening. What is PI? Phosphate. Whenever ATP is broken down, it will be broken down into ADP plus phosphate. Okay. So let me just explain you what is this pump. So this is what we call it as your sodium potassium pump. Yeah, PI is indicating that it is inorganic phosphate, right? I refers to inorganic, right? Okay. So please understand that there are certain substances which has to be pushed out of the body. And there are some substances which has to be taken in by the body. As in body, it's not about body, it's about cell. Cells will require more amount of potassium inside and it will require less amount of sodium inside. So cells will not require sodium, but it will require lots of quantities of potassium. So what is happening is there is a pump which is called as sodium potassium pump, which is an active transport, which is trying to transport the sodium and potassium inside and outside. Okay. So what is happening is sodium is always pushed outside the body or outside the cell, and potassium is always taken inside the cell. Okay, we are talking only about cell, we are not talking about the body. So please use the word cell. So sodium ions are not required for the cell, but potassium ions are required for the cell. So what will happen is for every time sodium has to be pushed outside and potassium has to be taken inside. So while this is happening, what will happen? You have something called a sodium potassium pump. In sodium potassium pump, what is happening? 3 sodium ions will first go and attach. So this is the first stage. In the first stage, what is happening? 3 sodium ions are going and attaching in the protein. You see the protein is open inward, which means it is not open outward, it is like open inward. So the sodium ions can go and attach. Once the sodium ions are attached, what is that you are seeing? You are able to see that an ATP is coming and attaching here, and it is breaking down into ADP and phosphate. Yes, this is done in plasma membrane only. Plasma membrane only is going to transport. Where are these proteins present? The integral membrane proteins. This is an integral membrane protein. This is a carrier protein. Or we call it as an integral membrane protein. Or we call it as a transmembrane protein. Yesterday we studied that protein. Okay, so this is like open inwards. The sodium is attaching. As soon as the sodium is attached, what is that you will be able to see is this ATP is going to be utilized. This ATP will be broken down into ADP and inorganic phosphate. Okay, so when it is used, what is happening is this is going to give the energy to the protein. What is happening to the protein? The protein is changing its shape. Now how the protein is looking after the energy is consumed, the protein will change its modification such that it is open towards the outside and it is closed towards the inside. So now what will happen? These 3 sodium ions are going to go out. The moment 3 sodium ions are going out, that side will be having potassium. So this potassium blue color substance is kind of coming and then it is going to occupy this place. And what you are seeing here, you are able to see that the blue color potassium ions are coming and attaching. The moment this potassium ions are attached, again one more ATP is used, supplying energy. The ATP is broken and then like what you are getting is you are getting ADP plus inorganic phosphate. It has given some energy. Now what has happened? This protein has changed the shape once again, and what is there? Now it is facing inwards. So now what will happen? The potassium ions which was outside is now able to come inside. So this will happen only in the case of membrane proteins, and you require ATP for this process. This is what we call it as sodium potassium pump. 3 sodium ions are taken inside, sent out, and 2 potassium ions are taken in. And how many ATPs are consumed? 2 ATPs are consumed. This is what is the summary of this entire thing. Are we guys able to understand? What are the source of these ions? We are eating food, no? Your food is having sodium, potassium and all. Those are the ions. You are taking salt. You are eating food. Food items contain salt. Okay, just write something quickly about your active transport alone. This is basically one round of sodium potassium pump. The protein can carry only that much. We are talking about one protein at one point. The sodium potassium pump will be happening simultaneously in multiple cells at multiple proteins. Potassium ions are required by the cell and sodium ions are not required by the cell. The cell has two parts. Okay, your body as such will require both sodium and potassium. Okay, so what will happen is you understand that along with sodium and potassium, what will happen? You will have like some kind of other transport which will be happening. The cell will not require sodium. The cell will require potassium. So potassium come inside and sodium goes outside. This is just called a sodium potassium pump. Hey, just a second. So we can just start revising. Children, the class is over. Tomorrow we can see. Okay, thank you. Ama.